Okay, this is a follow-up to the video that I just posted before this one. I'm not gonna hold this one back to post at a later time. Go watch the video prior to this one. This is like a part 2 to the let's be fucking for real about what's coming, astrological transits, look at the writing on the wall, pull your head out of your ass, and let's stop tearing each other down and start building communities, because that's what we're gonna need most of all. Okay, in the previous video, that was the overarching premise. What we're looking at, what we're experiencing astrologically is just a reflection of patterns. Every 250 years, a country is going to experience a major shift, often a collapse. We are in our Pluto return. Additionally, every single time Uranus goes into Gemini or is in Gemini, and Uranus spends approximately 7 years in a sign, the United States is at war. That is a fact. We are not fear-mongering. I don't think it takes a brain surgeon to look around and see that the United States is currently in and on the brink of major conflict. Now, the only thing that astrologers, and that includes myself, can't entirely figure out is what kind of war we are looking at this time. Now, because we are dealing with a transit that typically is indicative of war for us and a Pluto return, I'm inclined to believe that it's going to look very different than the previous 3 times that we had this transit. Okay, I had to reel myself back in mentally. I was going in so many different directions. That ADHD brain is so real and so challenging to deal with sometimes. There's so much to talk about. There's so many different ways to approach this, but I'm gonna try to keep it as narrowed down as I can. Why does Uranus in Gemini often indicate war for the United States? This is our Sibley chart, the United States chart, a snapshot of the sky at the time that the Declaration of Independence was signed. We have Sagittarius as our ascendant, which is one of the reasons why we probably are always up in everybody's shit across the globe. Gemini is our 7th house. Your 7th house is not just relationships and marriage and partnerships and no. Yes, it is those things, but it's also contracts. It's also your open enemies. When Uranus goes into that 7th house on a mundane perspective, the greater picture of a country, you are going to look at disruptions in the contracts that are written, the way that things are operating on a legal framework within the country. That is just something that you are going to experience. Gemini is the word, the spoken, the written. So there are often going to be disruptions in social contracts because it's Gemini. Wars in relation to disrupting social contracts. Wars with open enemies. We also have Mars in the 7th house. It seems to be that we are always in conflict in some way, shape, or form with people that are openly our enemies. It is no secret. The United States is always fighting somebody. We have no fucking chill. We never have, and it's possible we never will, at least not unless there's a complete and total breakdown of the United States as we know it to such a degree that we get a whole new chart. The other planet I want to talk about is Neptune. Neptune is a planet that's all about where you might be experiencing disillusion, where you might be experiencing being lied to. That's just to name the most primary thing that I am looking at in this particular situation. Neptune, it's also your ideals, it's your faith, it's what drives you, it's unconditional love. It's a lot. These outer planets, while they're generational planets, they do dictate so much energy on a mundane perspective and are incredibly powerful. At the start of all of these wars, all of these conflicts, Neptune has been in either Virgo or Pisces. These are double-bodied or mutable signs, meaning that they can flip-flop, they can go back and forth, they're movable, they're transitional. And these fall in our 4th and 10th house axis, with Virgo being the 10th, which is all about your legacy, and Pisces being the 4th, which is our home. It's the home front. So these transits between Uranus and Neptune are activating our angular houses in our United States chart. What we're experiencing with Neptune is going towards something, being told something, and that's not actually what it is. And that being a part of the big problem. Those that have the power manipulating the narrative to drive war, to drive citizens into going into conflict with both each other or on an international front. With the Revolutionary War, we had Neptune at 20 degrees retrograde of Virgo. With the Civil War chart, Neptune was 29 degrees of Pisces. That one is obviously a situation where like everyone's ideals were very much manipulated in such a way that we were able to be turned against each other, brother against brother, state against state. This was not, Neptune does very well typically in Pisces because it's the modern ruler, but that doesn't always equal good things. And for us, it certainly has not. In the World War II chart, it was at 29 degrees of Virgo. Neptune is currently in Aries, but it's going to retrograde back and hit that 29th degree, which is an anaretic, very difficult, volatile, challenging degree in Pisces, in an angular house. When it's doing that, we're still experiencing Uranus and Gemini. We're still experiencing the fallout of our Pluto return. Astrologers are looking at these charts, and we all know this equals war to some degree. But because the patterns are echoing all of the wars, there are similarities in all of these, it's difficult to imagine or ascertain, are we looking at a revolutionary war? Are we looking at a civil war? Are we looking at an actual war? Or are we looking at all three in the next decade? Hopefully, best case scenario, because we're dealing with Aquarius, technology, because we're dealing with Gemini, communication, hopefully the Civil War part is us playing all this bullshit out online and going at each other's throats. Hopefully that's going to be the extent of the Civil War. Hopefully. But only time will tell. And to bring it back to the theme of the original video, the best thing you can do at this time is just focus on yourself, focus on your family, your loved ones, your communities, build them as strong as you can because we're absolutely going to need them. Stop ripping each other down and focus on love because that is above all the only thing you can control and the primary thing that you need to get you through the next decade or so. So that's real talk. Let's be fucking for real. Love, an astrologer.